Good evening, wherever you are around this world, morning or noon. My name is Kelly Kingston and I am your host of the Business Today Show. The Business Today Show is all about businesses supporting businesses. And what my job is to get sustainable business owners that have been in their businesses and sustaining themselves for over 2 years and ask them a series of questions to get some tips and tricks on how they have made it and how they have been so successful in their business. And my special guest tonight is a beautiful man, Nik Cree. How are you, Nik?
I am excellent. How are you, Kelly?
I am really, really well, thank you. So, Nik, you fell into being a website designer by accident, and you had no technology abilities whatsoever. Do you want to share your story with us?
Well, it was a happy accident, really. I mean, I've always been interested in technology. Right back in 1979, I'm not going to tell my story since then, but that was when I got introduced to my very first computer when I was at school. It was Sinclair ZX86. But yeah, it really came about I had a mortgage broking business, which I set up from scratch in 1998, having never been in the financial services business, knowing nothing about finance or money. So what do? I had a redundancy check. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go and do something I've never done before. So I did. And I set up a mortgage broking business. And I think probably the best thing about it was because I knew nothing about it, it meant that I had no expectations and no bad habits. In fact, I had no habits at all, and was able to really sort of start from absolute scratch. And because I didn't know anything, I didn't even know banks paid commissions. So we spent 3 years in business there without the banks paying us a cent. So we were charging our sort of clients a fee for mortgages. So it's like, this is like really not knowing anything at all. And and so marketing was one of those things. I thought, oh, well, I need to actually sort of learn this. And I used to sit up late at night studying or downloading and printing out thick manuals for online marketing and for writing long sales form sort of letters and all that sort of thing there. But in the end, I discovered this thing called a website. I went to a seminar. They were selling websites. They cost $5,000 each. I bought two and discovered that I'd only just bought a website platform. I had to learn how to code and sort of understand what HTML was and what CSS3 was. And so I was in the right in the deep end. So I was running my mortgage broking business. And I had a full team of people around me as well. I'm the boss, and I'm building a website in my spare time in the evening, trying to work out what these little tags are that you've got to put in, all that. But it worked, and I didn't know what to put in it, because back then it was banks. Banks had things like graphs and interest rates and all sorts of really fascinatingly boring stuff that no one wants to know anything about. And I thought, well, that's going to be no good for the people I'm dealing with, because I'm dealing with normal people who don't talk like that. And I came across a guy by the name of Jay Abraham, and he was a guy in the States who was a marketer, and John Claude Hopkins, and he was a really early sort of marketer, and they all talked about long sales form, sales letters that like 20-page letters that you would go and mail out to people. They would clip out a coupon out of it, and they'd post it back with a check on it to go and buy your products and services. So my thinking at the time was thinking, well, you know what, if I can save money by not posting out all that sort of stuff and just put that on my website. And so my website, my very first website, was a long sales form sales letter. So it was quite long. And this is the days before mobile phones and all that sort of things. Back in, geez, when was it? 2001? Yeah, 2001. And so I just created this website, and I put in free reports. So I remember I'd learned these things about free reports. So people would mail out, the sales letter. So people would cut out the coupon to get posted out a free report. And so my free reports were what was it, the 10 dirty secrets that the banks don't want you to know, and you know, sort of 15 ways to sort of pay off your mortgage without cutting your lifestyle. So these are the free reports that instead of mailing them out, people would come onto the website, they'd put in an email address and they'd download them. So back then that was all pretty new. I didn't know sort of what to do, but it seemed to work. And so we were doing a bit of advertising at the same time in the local paper. You know, we were running property investment seminars and getting people in and showing them how to use the equity in their home to go and then buy investment property, and restructuring their loans with the early, what were they called? Or line of credit or revolving credit mortgages. So that was just a really new thing back then. And so my whole business revolved around running these seminars and filling the room to run these seminars. And we had guests, speakers coming in, and my website, which I'd built, and email marketing. So I was building up a database of emails too. Yeah. And people said, well, why are you doing that? No one reads emails. And I thought, well, no, I reckon that, you know, the sort of people I want to do business with are going to be savvy enough to have an email account, and I'm going to start emailing them. And so I sort of fell into that, and I grew that business there from nothing, and from like knowing nothing at all, to selling it 10 years later, and being awarded in the Mortgage Broker of the Year awards. So
wow. How much did you sell your business for?
Oh, what did I sell it for? I remember selling it for 2 years worth of trail commission, whatever that was. I didn't get all the money. But it was 2 years worth of trails, and we were getting about sort of 20 to 30, between $20 to $40,000 a month in trail commissions from the banks.
Wow.
So you know, so it was a pretty good business.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But we sold it just as the GFC hit. So
lucky.
And you. This is back in New Zealand. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But maybe not quite so lucky. Well,
so you're from New Zealand?
Well, no, I'm not from New Zealand. I'm from Norfolk Island, but I lived in New Zealand for a long time. I went to boarding school there, you know, so that's why I've got all these strange habits that I've got. I'm a boarding school boy. And sort of moved around the country, went to university. I thought, what have I done? I've done 10 years worth of 10 years, or maybe longer at university. Anyway, I'm 2 papers short of a failed degree. So I've failed enough papers. If I failed 4 more, I could have had a failed degree. But I'm about 3 papers short of a degree as well too. So, you know, if I'd actually done things properly, I could probably have 2 degrees. But, you know, I was too busy working and enjoying sort of life and sort of thinking, how do you you know, I just love the business side of things.
Yeah, so I think I have a degree in motherhood and a degree in life. So I have 2 degrees.
Yes. And well, my business card so for a long time had my letters after my name, which were QBE in brackets ONS, and which meant qualified by experience in honours.
I love that creativity.
Yeah. Well, university was a great time as well too, because, you know, I spent a lot of time there, but I learned a lot. And I probably didn't learn the things that the lecturers wanted me to learn. And I remember one time I was at university with my secretary. So I was working as a youth worker at the time, and so I had a secretary who would do things like type out our newspapers, incredibly threatened when I bought my laptop computer in, because she thought that was the end of her job. And I said, no, that is not the end of your job. I'm going to type up all this stuff, and you're still going to be putting together the newsletters and doing stuff. But anyway, we enrolled in university together, and she thought she was dumb. I said, you're not dumb at all. You're incredibly sort of intelligent and smart, just not in the ways that sort of, people think you should be. And so we enrolled in university, and she said, I'm going to do the classes you do, so you can help me. And I said, well, that's good, because I want you to help me as well too. And I had my very first computer that I bought was a Sunrace laptop computer. So it was a pretty funky thing. And that was back in 1990. So it shows how old I am at the moment. And Anyway, so we took that into class, and so she took the laptop in, and she was a touch typist. So as the lecturer is talking, she's touch typing everything the lecturer is saying. And my qualification for courses, my criteria for courses, was that one, they didn't have an external exam, and they had to be 100% internally assessed. So that meant essays and all that sort of stuff. So and so our process was that she would touch type everything. I'd write some notes, but I had the gift of the gab, and so being able to put things together. And so we would sit down over a couple of days, and we grab all of these notes, and I would go to the lecturer's office, and I would spend 2 hours with the lecturer in their office talking about their favourite topic, which was themselves. And so I got them to talk about what they're interested in, what they're passionate about, what books they read, and all that sort of. It's an incredible amount of information they used to give us. So I used to take all of those books that they talked about, and that was our reference material for the essays. We'd pull out all of the notes that my secretary had touch typed and pulled it all together, and so we created 2 essays out of those and handed them in, and that turned my D's into A's. And Beth was amazed because she was getting A's as well too. And the reason why that worked so well was that the lecturers were reading back their words that they had spoken verbatim. So, it was like, yeah. So what I learned was university is not about knowledge, but it's about how do you put things together in a way that people like it and understanding it. So it was about marketing for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So let's back to, okay, you're now a website designer, and you had a business in the financial industry. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in the financial industry, and then you had to build a website for your business. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So you built a website, not having the technical experience in building a website. So what did you? I know you went back to uni and everything, and you printed off everything. How long did it take you to build that website with absolutely no knowledge?
6 months, I suppose.
6 months?
6 months. Yeah,
so
it was about that.
You use WordPress like you're using now?
No. This is well before WordPress. This is like
Joomla?
No, before that.
My gosh, you are a dinosaur.
Yeah, this is like almost before Google was around. This is Alexa as a search engine and Ask Jeeves. This is like, we're talking about a long time ago. So I didn't discover WordPress until 2008, 2009. That was when I discovered WordPress, because we'd come over to Australia, sold the business, came over to Australia, lost all our money in New Zealand in the financial markets, even though I sold my business.
Yeah.
We had a property portfolio, which was about 5 months away from retirement. We'd never have to work again.
Yeah.
And the financial crisis took all that out from underneath us. Like the banks we borrowed money from, or the lending institutions, they went under. And so we had no more money, and we couldn't finish our properties. They all got sold. So yeah, that was a big story. But anyway, we came over here.
Yeah.
And that was where I discovered WordPress.
Okay. So how did you start a web developing business?
Yes, that thing. Well, I fell into it really because I wanted to find because I'd had some experience with building websites. I wanted to find something that's easy that you could change. So, and I discovered this thing called content management system. And a friend of mine had just said, hey, have a look at this WordPress thing. So I looked at it and thought, man, this is exactly what I wanted. If I had this back then, it would have been just so much easier.
Yeah.
And and at the time when we came over here, I was driving a taxi, and because we'd come over and thought, what sort of skills have I got? I've got no skills. I've only sort of built a mortgage broking business from nothing to selling it in 10 years later and being sort of awarded. And I thought, come over here, what can I do? That's all I know. So I thought, well, I can drive a car. So I went and sort of drove a taxi for about 6 months. But I thought, when I'm driving a taxi, I took my computer along and I stuck it in under the seat. And I thought, right, between rides, I'm going to pull my computer out and I'm going to sort of learn this WordPress thing and learn how to sort of code this new language, because, you know, it's PHP and it's a whole new language. And but the problem was, as I pulled out my laptop, it used to take about 15 minutes to fire up. By that time, someone else got in the back of the car there for me to take. I'd have to shut it down, stick it under the seat, and so that really didn't work. That was my day. Really enjoyed the job. Worst paid, best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I thought that's not going to get me ahead. So then one of the people that I had riding in the taxi, he sold timeshare. And, you know, we live on the Gold Coast, so it's like, you know, timeshares are a great thing. I thought, well, I can sell, so I'm going to go and do that. So I ended up selling timeshare for Wyndham. But the great thing about that job is it didn't start till 10 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was down at the cafe underneath with my computer learning how to code. And so I did that for about 6 or 7 months. And every morning I was down there, so 6 to 10, doing that, really loving it. Hated selling timeshare, absolutely hated it. Until someone said to me, she said, and she's a client of mine today still, that was my very, very first client. She said, you know about this sort of WordPress stuff. Why don't I pay you to look after my site? Won't be much, but I'll pay you to look after my site, and then you can go out and get some new customers. So I said, right, you're on. And that was the start of my WordPress business. So that was back in 2009. Wow. And she couldn't pay me either, like at the end of the day. So she didn't have enough money to pay me. So she said to me, how about I buy you a computer, a sort of Apple Mac, because she'd been trying to get me into that for ages. And she said, I can put it on my credit card and I can pay my credit card off, and then I can pay you all that I owe you in a computer. I thought, yeah, it sounds like a pretty good deal. And you know what? I've still got that computer today. That's one that I work on today. Crazy, eh?
Just work on it.
I still work on it. Well, I've got two. You see, she actually ended up buying me two computers. So the first one I've got is a laptop, 17-inch laptop, which we've still got and we still use. And the other one is a 27-inch iMac, which is we've got that in 2012. She bought that one in 2012, and I still use that one today.
Wow.
Amazing machine.
So you
Amazing
can still
machine.
update all the operating systems and everything on them?
That's just getting past that last operating system. Is just, they won't allow it. So I'm going to have to buy another one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So how did you know that, you know, building websites and connecting with beautiful people and sharing their stories and their businesses through a website was your calling?
Because I don't know what was it? Is it my calling? It was because when I left that mortgage broking business and came over here, and after I sort of was driving taxi enough, I thought, now I want a business that's got no overheads, no staff, no rent, no office, none of that sort of stuff there. I want to work from a cafe. And I thought, right, I know what that is. That's affiliate marketing. So I jumped into ClickBank and I started in affiliate marketing. So that was really where I started. And I'd sort of learnt this WordPress stuff, but it was, for me, it was about what's going to give me financial independence, workplace independence, and you know, where I can have total control over my life, and so that was the driver for me. I found affiliate marketing was a lot harder than they made out, but I carry that there with me as we're working with clients and customers today. So looking at their businesses, thinking, how can this be something that is not a yoke around your neck? How can this be something that serves you? It's enjoyable. You make money out of it so that you can go and enjoy your life, enjoy your family, and really build something that is stress-free. It's never that, but you know, that's the aim. It's stress-free, yeah. and really gives you the life that you want. So I mean, that's the place that I come from.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. So amongst all that, you obviously had a mountain of struggles, but which is the one struggle that stands out the most in creating your business?
One struggle that stands out the most. Well, it's probably that I tend to do things without knowing anything. So so very early in my WordPress journey, I would volunteer to speak in front of developers and designers about WordPress. and I'm only a couple of years into it, so I didn't know much about it at all. And lo and behold, they would accept me for these presentations that I give. And I remember the very first one I gave in Brisbane was on security, for WordPress websites. And I thought, man, I don't even know anything about it. I thought it's a good topic. I don't know anything about it. So I had to research it, learned it. I was in there looking at plugins. I was configuring sites, looking for all the things that were really going to sort of help to secure a site. And I think my fear about speaking in front of people that I thought were a lot more experienced than I were, and we're going to find out that I was a fraud because I didn't really know this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Was probably the biggest strength as well too, because I learned so much so quickly, and I found a community of people that were sort of they were really quite accepting, because they took people from sort of beginner right through to people that who I know today who are core developers on the WordPress platform who live in Brisbane.
Wow. So the moral of the story is you had to fake it till you made it.
Well, I think it is fake it till you make it, but I think I would put it something else in there too, is that it's a bit more than faking it. You've actually got to go out and make it. So you actually have to make it. You can't just fake it. You've got to go and learn and sort of and really get your hands dirty to understand it.
Okay, cool. And so for other businesses that are out there that are struggling or they're wanting to start their own business, what advice have you got for them?
That's an interesting one, because the advice that you give people sort of 11 years down the track, this is my 11th year in business as in web development, is quite different from when you just start. But I think if you're going to go into business, I would say the first thing is just start. You're never going to have it perfect, and you're never going to learn it until you get stuck into it, because it's not until you start to do something that you really learn what you really don't know. So, someone can give you all the advice in the world about what you can do in business and what you should do and how to do it, but you won't actually really know it until you're in there. So, like, when I was running that mortgage broking business, 3 years, I didn't know the banks are paying commissions. But, at the end of that 3 years, I'm thinking, man, all that money, it could have been a lot easier. Yeah. But you know what? The actual journey from, during that 3 years to build a business without that made the business stronger. So, so the mistakes that you make in business and the things that you don't know aren't necessarily things to hold you back, but they're things that can actually propel you forward and give you an edge over your competitors.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. I couldn't agree more. So, in your business, your business is called Positive Online Businesses, is that right? Or
Positive Business Online.
I got the words around the wrong way.
That's right. It's got positive. It's not online.
You could turn that around, and it could go anyway. Those that name, couldn't you?
It could, yeah.
Yeah. So where can people find you if they're looking for a kick-ass website designer?
They could find me at positivebusinessonline.com.
And what's a email address people can email you on?
If they get, it's a long one, but they can email me at Nik, which is Nik, at positivebusinessonline.com. But a good central place, if they want to find me, a really good central place, nikcree.me. Everything's there. All my videos, everything.
Nikcree.me. And is there a contact? Is there a contact area where they can email you or get in touch with you?
They can email me. They can watch me. It's got all my YouTube stuff up there. They can go to my LinkedIn profile, Instagram, everywhere.
So you are everywhere.
I am everywhere.
There's a song for you. I am everywhere, man.
That's it.
So do you have anything else that you would like to share with our viewers that are watching this video right now and on replay about, setting up their business? It's good to say, just start, but what would be one of the first things that you would Is it, get a domain, start a business plan, start writing things down? What is your, last words in support of these people that are, procrastinating, struggling, or starting a business?
I think, yeah, look, a business name and a logo and all those sort of things are important, but that's not the most important thing. People spend too much time thinking about their logo and that sort of stuff. That's the least important part of the business. I think if there's anything that will really get you on the track or on the road, it's the people that you associate with. So go and find. So if you want to start a business, find out where people, your competitors, find out where they hang out in that area and go and meet with them. And there's plenty of places to do that. So for instance, you often find me at WordPress Meetups. There are developers there, designers there, business owners there, all sorts of people are there, that are there in that WordPress community. But you want to do that because what you find is you learn so much just from the people that are there, that have been in business longer than you, doing what you're doing, and have got all the war stories to tell you. So I picked up so much stuff about what not to do just by hanging around other web developers and web designers, and then talking about their business. Now, and I can say, when I sat there, I felt like I had nothing to contribute to the conversations. I sort of felt like, I don't know if you feel like that sometimes, but you sit in a conversation and they're all talking, they've got all this knowledge, and think, I've got nothing to say because I've got nothing to contribute. But that's the best place to be, and you just sit down and listen and you'll pick up so much. These days I'm the person sitting in that circle there telling all the war stories and all of my experiences. But when you start, you want to be the newbie in there, and it's okay to be a newbie. Ask lots of questions. You will get lots of help. The fear about asking questions is people will laugh at you or will know that you're brand new. But the only way you're going to learn is just ask those questions and hang out with those people.
I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much, Nik, for joining me tonight on the Business Today show. You have a lot of expertise in being in business, and you're a very, very smart and highly intelligent man by the sounds of things. So thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for that. You make me sound really good,
Well, you are.
That way.
I hear nothing but positivity from people that have connected with you that are in my circle. So.
Oh, that's good to hear. And that's one of the things about being in business is I just want to, my thing is just be with people you want to hang out with, and the journey is just a whole lot easier.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much, Nik Cree. So if you want to get in contact with Nik, www.nikcree.me. Lots of videos on that website, and a contact page so that you can contact Nik so that he can support you in developing a website that supports who you are and where you want to be in business. Thank you so much, Nik.
Thanks, Kelly.
So thank you so much for joining me tonight and my special guest, Nik. If you have any struggles, or you're procrastinating, or you're wanting to get started in business, take the first, contact somebody who is doing business in the area that you are wanting to step into, and ask questions. Ask as many questions as you possibly can, and then reach out to somebody that is extremely, hugely successful and ask them where they started, okay? And then slowly build it from there, and you can't go wrong, okay? And then if you have any opportunities to, speak about what you're passionate about, reach out and just do it. You won't be good at it unless you practice and you're in front of people. So thank you for joining us. This program, Business Today Show, is all about businesses supporting businesses. And so I am your host, Kelly Kingston, and you have just been interviewed. I have just interviewed Nik Cree. Thank you so much, and I look soon. Bye for now.